Good afternoon, my friends. It is with a joyous heart that I am here to visit with you once again and to share some thoughts with you. It makes us chuckle over here when we listen to the medium talk about his experiences of this week and his realizations of things, for it is something that we are in the process of orchestrating, if you will, and inspiring him to find certain things and to pick up certain books that he has not looked at for quite some time, and to bring this information to the surface, if you will, of his mind, so that he could share it with others in the writing that he's doing, and of course with you when he talks with you. It brings us great joy to come to have these realizations, to have him have these realizations and watch his reactions and watch your reactions as you learn and come to the realization of how the gifts of the spirits actually works and how really simple it is, in fact, once you understand it, to realize what has happened in the past, and even what has happened in that book of books that you, some people read so diligently. We are also happy to see that you are progressing with your sending and receiving, and that some of you are working on a regular basis to blend with us and blend with energy, with the energy of spirit, and to become a vessel for us to not only inspire, but to have you be the teachers in the future. Because for all of you present, you will be in positions in the days to come that people will seek you out and ask you questions. You may be a bit astonished and even a bit confused as why they come to ask you. But you must realize that in your studies of the gifts of the spirit and mediumship, that it does have an effect on your auric field. This knowledge does change your frequency a slight bit. It changes the way your light is perceived to others a slight bit. And when those who are sensitive enough to be able to come into your presence and realize that you are the one who has the answers that they are seeking, they will ask you the questions. And it is at that time that we wish to remind you now not to be concerned, not to say, oh my God, they're putting me on the spot. They're asking me a question. Do I have the answer? Do not go into any kind of panic state. Just simply take a breath or two, relax, and listen, and we will be there to give you the answer. You do not have to think that you need to have all the answers yourself. That's not what we are trying to have you do. For if we wanted you to do that, we'd be telling you to read 10 books a week to get all this knowledge into your mind. We're not asking you to do that at all. We are asking you to practice to becoming sensitive to our thoughts and become sensitive to our telepathic communications that we send you, and so that when the time comes, you simply relax into that slightly altered state as we were talking about, and then listen for the answers, for they will be there. And all you need to do is to repeat what you are hearing or what you are sensing. And it will come to a point where it will be a flow that you're not even listening, and the words will just be flowing out of your mouth. And you will have the answers that are required at the time. So these are things that are in your futures for you to do. And we do not want you to be concerned about it. We only ask that you practice your skills in telepathy, practice your blending with us in energy, and when the time is right, it will happen naturally. Do you understand?
Thank you.
You may begin with your questions.
Thank you, Carl and friends, for being here. We really appreciate you. The first question is from Susan Yu. Can you comment on the ancient name of God? Yod-He Vah-He. The name is made up of Hebrew letters. Is there an innate power in that name? Is it true that those Hebrew letters, Yod-He Vah-He, correlate to actual number patterns that are in our DNA? There seems to be a mystery around that name, and it wasn't allowed to be spoken in ancient times, as I understand. Any information about it is very much appreciated. Thank you so very much. Love, Susan.
You are quite right in what you have said, but it was a time when that was not right. In the very beginning, there was no ban on saying that name and using those letters, as you have mentioned, for the name of God, because in the Hebrew, that is what it was said. In ancient times, the Hebrew priests would say that name, and as they were blessing the people, there was a special ceremony that was done at the beginning of the new year where they would bless the people and they would say that name and send that energy out to the people in order to bless them for the new year. However, there came a time when that name became, as you said, there's power in that name. And therefore, it was decided that they would no longer pronounce that name at all. And the actual way to pronounce it has been somewhat forgotten, mostly forgotten by most people. The Jewish people, when they say their prayers, they read those letters, but they do not say those letters. They say a totally different word. They say the word Adonai instead of saying those letters. And Adonai means Lord. So they are saying the word Lord instead of saying those letters, because that name and that pronunciation does not carry that power, as you mentioned. Yes, you are correct that those letters have numerical value, because that's in Hebrew, all the letters have numerical value and have certain meanings for people who understand that numerology system. And you are also correct that it does connect back into the DNA that you now understand about, and goes into that. In some ways, it was a way back in the day when this was used, and that word was used in its power to alter a person's DNA and to change their what's the word? Potential. That's the word I'm looking for, and to change their potential and to bring about a different outcome. You have some understanding now of the quantum physics and the quantum theories about different potentials that are out there. And by saying that particular word, the vibration that it contains and the power that it contains did have the power, and still does if it's used, but it's not used anymore, to jumpstart you from one potential to another. It was a way to kind of change the tracks on the train, if you understand, switch you go and therefore go into another direction. I believe you understand that and at certain junctures in the train tracks, they could switch it from one. If they switched it one way, you went to the left. If you went to the other, switched it the other way, you went to the right, and therefore ended up in a different destination. And in many ways, this is what that word was used for. It was able to change your potential into something else than what you were headed for. There is folklore going back into you go back into ancient times where there was a entity called Lilith Lilith was a woman. She was the first woman that was created. It was not Eve, as you read in the Bible. It was Lilith. And Lilith was she was made of the same exact substance as Adam. If you read what the Bible, it talks about Adam, that God took dust of the earth and he formed Adam, and he also formed Lilith, and they were both made of the same substance. And when Adams wanted to dominate and boss Lilith around, she would have none of it, because she said, I am your equal. I am made of the same substance that you are made of. And she got very upset with Adam, especially during their sexual relations, because he was not treating her as an equal. And therefore, she got angry, and she said the words that you said. She said the divine name, and she flew off to another part of the world and had nothing to do with Adam again, because this is how powerful that word was, that it could change things and change potentials, as we said. So yes, you are correct. It is no longer used, and the Jewish people do not use it. They do still have that blessing ceremony, which we spoke about, but unfortunately, as with most things that have come down through the ages, were things that were very powerful and had a lot of energy towards them. People forgot how to employ the energy, and now they're just a ritual that is done, and they bless the people, but no energy is exchanged, no energy is produced. So therefore, it has very little to do but saying some words and kind of remembering what was done centuries ago, but it doesn't have the power that it had back then. And that is true with many of the rituals that are in most religions these days, where there was psychic meetings and psychic connections and energy connected to what was being done, but that energy is no longer being produced, and therefore it does not occur when you perform the rituals. So yes, that word is still it still contains its power, but no one knows the true meaning of how to say it anymore. Or if there is one or two people, it's kept in a very, very secretive place, and no one is. It's not allowed to be used because of the power that it's contained. So therefore, I hope that this answers your question.
Thank you. The next question is from Ria. Rudolf Steiner indicated that the Antichrist has a right to incarnate and that it will be about in the beginning of this century. Can you tell us when he might come to this earth, and how will people recognize him? Thank you.
The individual that you are asking about has come into your earth plane already. He is living in a physical body. You will come to recognize him because his mission in life is to be the center of attention. He will come to life. That's a bad phrase. Excuse me. He is alive. He will come to light. You will come to know him because he will suddenly be a sensation. You will know his identity because people will start to be, he'll be like a magnet. He'll be drawing the attention of people from all around the world. People will be interested in him and following him and following what he says and be interested in what he says. But those who are spiritually awake will come to realize that a lot of what he is saying is not quite correct. And it's kind of hollow. It'll fall on, it will be upsetting to you. It will not sit right with you. It will cause you to stop and think and wonder, why is he saying that? It's a little off. And this is how you will recognize him, because the things that he has said, that he will say, I should say, the things that he will say will not resonate with you. They will resonate with being off. There being something wrong. And you at the time will be wise to try to get people to understand that this is not who people think he is. He is not the great Messiah that's coming back to the world to save the world, as many people will think. He is coming to the world to enslave the world once again with another system of dogmas and ignorance. So it is up to the people such as yourselves who carry divine knowledge within them, who are empowering their souls with spirituality, to speak up and try to get people to understand that this is not who he claims to be, and try to steer people into the right direction. Do you understand?
Thank you. And can I follow that up with a question about, since our consciousness is being raised and the white hats have done so much to release a lot of the darkness from this plane, and as our consciousness continues to raise, wouldn't that mean that this Antichrist would not be able to exist in our energy as our energy continues to become more spiritual? I mean, do you see him leaving the plane pretty soon? Thank you.
What you speak about is more the end game of what will happen. You are not quite at the middle of the game. So there is plenty of room for the negative parts and the people who follow the dark forces to exist and not be nullified by the positive energies that you are speaking of. The positive energies that you speak of need to be ramped up quite a bit further than where they are presently to accomplish what you are speaking of, if you understand what I'm saying. So you are not quite there yet to make what you think will happen. That's not to say you're wrong. You're just that things have not advanced to that point yet where the positivity will nullify the negativity. It will happen at a certain point, but you are not there yet. And there's quite a ways to go till you will get to reach that magic point or special point. Do you understand?
Thank you. Yes. We have no more questions. So I just want to ask Carl and friends if you have anything that you would like to share with us or teach us at this point. Thank you.
What we would like to talk about at this point is a word that you are familiar with called confidence. It is not a word that many people would use to describe themselves, to say that they are confident. You have been raised in a world where the social consciousness teaches you that you are not worthy, where you are sinners, where you are wretches, as the song says. They try to brainwash you to the point that to believe that you are less than rather than more than. in order to keep their control over you. It is part of society's mental capacity, mental state. It's kind of like a brainwashing that is out there. So there are not many people who would say that they are confident. What we would like to impress upon you is to nurture the sense of confidence within yourself. For you understand that if you live in the consciousness that's opposite of confidence, and that is in fear and in thinking that you can't and you're not good enough, that will hamper what you are able to do. So what we say to you is to follow what this particular instrument has followed in a good part of his life, where he said that he understood that if you are confident or positive and have total belief that you can do something, it will enable you to manifest that. But he wasn't always able to manage that. He did not have the confidence in himself, and he did not think he could do it. But he did realize that he could get rid of the negativity. He could get rid of the fear and the doubt and approach it in a neutral state. And that way you don't have to battle the negative part of it. You're battling from neutral into positive, which is a lot shorter journey than starting off from where you are if you're in a negative state and believing that you can't. So we urge you to come to a point where you can at least be neutral. If you cannot get rid of the doubt, be neutral. Recognize that you have the doubt and dismiss it. Send it away. Pack it up in a nice little envelope, put a stamp on it, and put it in a mailbox and send it out to the universe to somebody else. You are no longer that person. You are at least neutral. If you can't be super positive, if you can't be positive, if you can't have the confidence. Because when you are dealing with the work with the spirit, you need to at least be neutral. You at least need to allow yourself the possibility that you can do it. If you say you can't, I cannot hear spirit, you won't hear spirit. If you can get to the point that was, well, maybe if I attune myself, perhaps I can, or I will, or I'll be open to it, then you are opening the doors to allow it to happen. So we strongly suggest in everything that you approach in your spiritual life to approach it in a positive way. And if you are in your personality, you cannot be positive, at least be neutral. At least get rid of the negativity and understand that negativity are cement blocks that will prevent you from picking your feet up and taking a step. By getting rid of the negativity, you at least get rid of the cement blocks. And with a lot of effort for some people, you could pick up that foot and make the first step. It can be done. It's all in your way you set up your belief system, because the way you view it affects your energy, and your energy, of course, affects the way that you will respond and react to other energy, especially from the world of spirit. So we would encourage you as a very important step to develop confidence in your abilities. And again, if that's impossible, I'll open the door to say, I will allow myself to try. I will allow myself the possibility to do it. And if that's as far as into the confidence spectrum as you can be, that is a very major step for some people because it takes your feet out of the cement blocks. Do you understand that?
Yes, thank you so much that touched my heart. It's beautiful. We have no more questions.
If that be the case, then we
Oh,
will.
one moment, please. Sandy, you're muted. Sandy, unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself, Sandy? You're muted. Sandy, you need unmute.
I did.
Okay.
I have a question, Carl, for you.
Okay, here's a question from Sandy.
Go ahead.
How can one help take care of others, family members, friends, partners, and still stay balanced? Many of us are overwhelmed with the magnitude of responsibilities we're faced with. Thank you.
We would suggest that you focus in on your divine crystalline energy. Because when you are in that vibration, everything is possible and everything can be done. As you become that energy, this is what we wish to say. The first time you sat down and learned about how to become your divine crystalline energy, it might have been a bit of a process for you to shift into it and learn how to shift and be in it again, even though you are it all the time. But you leave it a lot of times in your physical world. The more that you've done and you've stepped back into it, the quicker it happens. So what we say to you is to approach your responsibilities with the knowledge that you are divine crystalline energy. And as you go about dealing with your responsibilities, and as those responsibilities weigh you down and pull you back into the physical vibrations and the overwhelming feelings of being in that physical situation and the doubts and the fears and am I doing it right and all that stuff that comes back, we ask you to pull away. Excuse yourself. Even if you say you have to go to the bathroom, go in there. Realign with your divine crystalline energy. Get back into that vibration, and then go back and continue what you were working on. You will notice you're approaching it differently because you've released yourself from that physical pull and that physical vibration, and you're back into the divine vibration where everything is possible and everything can be done. And you will see it will go easier. And again, you'll be pulled back down into the physical, and again, go back and pull yourself into your divine crystalline energy. As you know, it doesn't take long to switch back. Hold it there for a minute. That's all it takes. And then go back into your physical world, into your physical responsibilities. You will get used to going back and forth and reaching back into your God consciousness, which will aid you in dealing with everything that you have to deal with, because it is difficult for many people. They have a lot of things to do, and many of the things that they have to deal with are not easy and are more they border on the depressing side, and they border on negative things and so forth. So that is one way of doing it, shifting yourself back. Another way we would suggest to you is before you go into that situation, perhaps when you are driving, because you need to drive to get to your family to help them and assist them, that you take the time, even as you are driving, to concentrate on your auric field, your energy field, and to say as you're driving, I am divine crystalline energy, and get into that vibration and see and visualize your auric field going into the golden light of that energy. And then once you see that light around your physical body, your auric field, put a coating on it, a reflective coating like a mirror all around it. So it's kind of like you're becoming what you would know as an M&M with a reflective coating, so that when you are dealing with the people who are projecting negative thoughts and negative energy and giving you all their complaints and their aches and pains and everything else that's happening in their life, you are listening, and but all that energy is being reflected away back to them, and is not affecting your soul energy and keeping you in your divine crystalline energy. And you will find you are able to deal better with the situation, and it will not pull you down as much. So we have given you two very different techniques of how to deal with this. And we hope that you will use both of them, and this will help you to deal with your responsibilities that, as we understand, can bring you down into a difficult position and state of mind. Do you understand?
Thank you.
Thank you.
No more questions. We thank you. We love you. Thank you for being here.
It is our pleasure for us to be able to assist you in any way that we can, and we hope that these answers have provided some inspiration for all of you. We will leave you at this time with our blessings of peace and harmony, and continue to practice being in the energy of the divine crystalline energy. So be it.